It starts with a sound, not a loud one, something subtle. The scrape of a chair, the particular weight of footsteps on stairs, the specific silence that means someone's been drinking again. You're 6 years old, maybe 7, and you're learning a language no child should ever have to speak. It's the language of survival, the dialect of emotional weather prediction. You're becoming fluent in reading faces, decoding sighs, measuring the space between words to figure out if tonight will be safe or if you need to make yourself invisible again. This is the moment childhood ends, and most people don't even realize it's happening. There's no ceremony, no announcement, just a quiet negotiation a small soul makes with an impossible situation. If I'm good enough, helpful enough, quiet enough, maybe everything will be okay. Maybe I'll finally be worth keeping. And just like that, a child disappears, not physically. They're still there, sitting at the dinner table, going to school, smiling in photographs. But psychologically, emotionally, something fundamental shifts. They stop being a child and start becoming a tiny adult and emotional support animal for the people who are supposed to be supporting them. The world has a name for this. Psychologists call it parentification. It's what happens when the roles reverse, when children become caregivers, when a developing mind is forced to handle complexities it has no business managing. But let's call it what it really feels like. It's theft. The quiet robbery of innocence, the invisible amputation of a developmental stage you can never get back. And here's the cruelest part. Everyone applauds you for it. You're so mature for your age, such an old soul. So responsible, so strong, so capable. These aren't compliments. They're evidence of a crime scene no one's investigating. Because what they're really saying is, we can see you've stopped being a child, and we're grateful because it makes our lives easier. What's actually happening in your brain during this time is nothing short of biological betrayal. When you're young, your nervous system is supposed to learn that the world is safe, that adults are reliable, that your needs matter. But when the people meant to regulate your emotions can't even regulate their own, your brain makes a devastating adaptation. It realizes that attachment, the biological need to belong, is in direct conflict with authenticity, the ability to be yourself. And in that impossible choice, authenticity loses every single time. Because you can survive without being yourself, but you cannot survive without connection. So you learn? You learn that your feelings are inconvenient. You learn that your needs are burdensome. You learn that love isn't something freely given. It's something you earn by being useful, by being easy, by disappearing just enough to make room for everyone else's chaos. Your brain gets rewired in real time. The amygdala, your fear center, becomes overdeveloped, hyperactive, constantly scanning for danger even when there is none. You develop what trauma researchers call hypervigilance, a state of perpetual alertness where your body never fully relaxes, because it's learned that peace is usually just the quiet before the next storm. Meanwhile, the parts of your brain responsible for play, for spontaneity, for trust, those remain underdeveloped, undernourished, frozen in time. And you carry this into adulthood like a piece of shrapnel you've learned to walk around but never actually removed. Fast forward 20 years, you're an adult now, successful even. You've got the career, the apartment, the outward markers of having it together. But underneath the competence, underneath the performance of normalcy, you're still that child reading the room, bracing for impact, making yourself useful so you won't be abandoned. It shows up in ways you've probably stopped questioning because they feel so much like who you are. You can't ask for help without feeling weak. You can't receive a compliment without deflecting. You can't rest without feeling guilty. You've become allergic to your own needs, fluent in everyone else's, and exhausted in a way sleep never fixes. You enter relationships and immediately start performing. You become the fixer, the therapist, the one who always has it together. And people love you for it. But late at night you wonder if they'd love you if you stopped, if you were messy, needy, human. Because deep down you still believe that your value is conditional. That love is something you have to earn by being low maintenance and high functioning. There's this fantasy you carry. You've probably never said it out loud, but it's there. You imagine someone seeing through your smile. Someone noticing that you're not actually okay. Someone saying, you don't have to be strong right now, I've got you. But no one ever does because you've gotten too convincing. You've perfected the art of fine when fine is just another word for I'm still surviving the thing I survived years ago. This is the hidden cost of growing up too fast. Not just what you lost then, but what you're still losing now. The relationships where you can't fully let anyone in. The opportunities you don't take because you're terrified of being exposed as someone who doesn't have it all figured out. The chronic exhaustion of maintaining a version of yourself that was never supposed to be permanent. And here's what makes it so difficult to heal. That child you were, the one who learned to read moods and manage emotions and stay small, they're not gone. They're not healed by time or distance or achievement. They're still inside you, frozen at the age when the world stopped being safe, waiting for someone to finally come back and say what no one ever said. You didn't deserve that. It wasn't your fault. You were just a child. The body keeps the score, as trauma researcher Bessel van der Kolk writes. Your nervous system remembers what your mind tries to forget. That's why you still flinch at raised voices even when they're not angry. Why you over-explain and over-apologize for things that don't need justification. Why you feel a wave of anxiety when your phone rings unexpectedly. These aren't personality quirks. They're survival responses, adaptive strategies that saved you once but now keep you trapped in patterns that no longer serve you. So what does healing actually look like? It doesn't start with positive thinking or productivity hacks or pretending the past doesn't matter. It starts with the truth. The uncomfortable, grieving, rage-inducing truth that what happened to you wasn't okay, that you deserve protection and didn't get it, that the adults in your life failed you and you've been paying for it ever since. This is what Carl Jung called shadow work, the practice of turning toward the parts of yourself you've exiled, the needy child, the angry adolescent, the grieving soul who never got permission to fall apart. You have to go back. Not to relive it, but to finally witness it. To offer that child what no one else did. This is called reparenting, and it's not some abstract therapeutic concept. It's practical and painful and necessary. You close your eyes and you go back to a specific memory. Maybe you're 8 years old, sitting on the stairs, listening to your parents scream. What did that child need? To be held? To be told it wasn't their fault? To hear someone say, "You're safe now, I won't let anything hurt you"? Whatever they needed, you give it to them now. Not because it changes the past, but because it changes how that memory lives inside you. You become the adult that child needed. You offer yourself the compassion no one else had the capacity to give. And then you grieve. You let yourself mourn what was taken, the birthday parties that felt empty, the achievements no one celebrated, the nights you cried alone. This grief isn't weakness. It's evidence that you're finally unfreezing, that what was buried is finally being brought into the light. You'll also have to learn something that feels impossible at first. Boundaries, saying no, disappointing people, choosing your peace over their comfort. It will feel selfish because you've been conditioned to believe that your needs don't matter as much as everyone else's, but that's the lie you're unlearning. Your needs aren't selfish, they're human, and you're allowed to honor them. Here's what I need you to understand. You didn't fail. You survived the only way you knew how. You became strong because you had to, not because you wanted to. But you're allowed to put it down now, the responsibility that was never yours to carry. The belief that you have to earn love. The fear that rest makes you weak. You're allowed to be messy and imperfect and still worthy. The childhood you lost isn't coming back. That's the hard truth, but the future? That's unwritten. And for the first time in your life, you get to author it from a place of choice, not fear. So let that child come home. Let them rest. Let them play. Let them finally be seen by you, because you're not broken. You're just becoming whole. And that person you would have been if the world had let you grow at your own pace? They're still in there, waiting. And they're worth meeting.